And we're live.
Sweet. What's up, everybody?
Sweet.
It is the 11th annual Hug Your AK Day. The National Hug Your AK Day. I forgot about the cake.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, last year we had a big cake. We had a custom cake maker last year. There was so much freaking cake that it didn't get all eaten. When you make a cake the size of an AK, that's a lot of cake, man. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for celebrating with us. This is the 11th celebration. We started this on October 18th, 2012, after the just malicious maligning, the bigotry against the AK put forth by Comrade Barry Soetoro, and we could not let that stand. And so we decided to push back and fight against the bigotry and the hoplophobia, and go ahead and do the National Hug Your AK Day. And of course, that was the year that we spawned the now famous or infamous, depending on who you ask, Tiger Woods photo. So, did you use the Tiger Woods photo at all this year, Zach?
Yeah, we used it on a couple of things.
All right, well, good. So Jared is going to be the master of ceremonies, and I'll let him announce everyone. And thank you to everybody for taking the time to join us today.
Yes, we've got, I'm going to go from the top left to the right here. So we've got Brian Keeney from Occam Defense joining us. You say, hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Everybody say, hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
That's right. We've got Curtis Hallstrom from VSO Media, Jeff Kirkham from Ready Man and Jukesy, and then we've got Marty from Talking Lead. You should, guys, everybody here should be familiar with these dudes. They've all been on the show before.
Bug Daniels.
Yeah. Buck Naked it was,
right? Buck Daniels, yeah, the country music sensation.
That's right. Thank you guys for joining us today.
It's our pleasure.
Thanks for the invite.
So we've got people filling up the column. Zach, are you going to monitor the YouTube? Is anybody even paying attention on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm working on spreading the message, but I will absolutely monitor the questions, comments, concerns of our wonderful audience. Because
this is a live forum, we're going to go ahead and open up. If you have a question, go ahead and post it into the chat. Are we live on Discord too, or just on the other two?
Fantastic point. I will put us live on Discord.
Yeah, put us live on Discord too, because our people like Discord.
If you're watching or listening right now on Facebook or YouTube or any other platform, and you want to join the Discord server where you can actually communicate with the community, studentofthegun.com/Discord is where to go.
There you go. I see the usual suspects. I see Tom, John, Adam, Christopher Humana. Did anybody hear that?
No.
No. Okay, good. That was not a stack of gun cases falling over. Just in case.
Ruh-roh.
and whacking into the studio light. It did not happen. All right. Come on, guys, ask some questions or tell our panelists how much you love them.
So this is National Hug Your AK Day.
Yeah, this is
a great day. Great day of history.
Oh, yeah. So whip them out, man. All right. Starting from, we'll start with Brian. Brian, whip yours out and show us what you got.
Oh, wait a minute. We were supposed to actually bring an AK?
You don't have one right there. Come on, Curtis.
Curtis fails. Curtis totally fails.
Give me just a second. I'll be right back.
So the AK that I'm hugging today is one that I built for all of our friend James Yeager's family in tribute to him. This is for the fundraiser. Don't want to sound woo-woo, but I hand built it with him in mind while I was building it. And so for whatever that's worth to you, it's there. It's set up exactly as my personal rifle is. Sans sling and red dot. Everything else is identical. This is what I think of as being an awesome fighting gun. It's in my favorite color. It's in OD here on the base, and then black anno and black other things. It has our new fat bottom mag catch on it, which is fat bottom. Everybody loves a fat bottom. It's a little hard
girls,
at this angle, but it's a billet mag catch that has a little bit more area to it. And if you do a lot of dry practice on a sheet metal AK, your thumb will get roached after 5-10 minutes, something like that. And I don't care how big your calluses are. It's uncomfy. And so we wanted, this isn't strictly required, but it is a really nice thing if you actually run your gun to not have it bite you. Folding stock that we make, Merc, iron sights, our 4-prong Vortex flash hider with suppressor ready for anything that's key mount. And Jared, maybe you can tell them about the raffle where they can win this sucker.
A raffle going on to support the Jaeger family, and that is the item that is being raffled. And you can get more information on that or join the raffle at jaredmarkel.com. That's JARRADMARKEL.com. There are a few raffles on there. There's a bunch of information there for you so that you can learn more about everything. But that's where you go, and I'll post a link for those of you guys that are on Facebook, YouTube, Discord.
There you go. There you go. All right. Thank you, Brian. Curtis, what did you find?
Okay. I'm doing this to make everybody mad. Where'd my window go? Okay. So this is an M85 NP that was converted to a short barrel rifle. And it makes everybody mad because it actually runs off of AR magazines.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 5.56 gun. That one doesn't fit very well. But I had this one done Cerakote through Atlas. And they also fitted it with this. Actually, I can't remember who makes this folder now that I think about it. But it also has the Midwest Industries handguard there on the front with a primary arms sight. And they polished all the internals for me. So just to make it completely obnoxious for anybody who is watching on either YouTube or Facebook.
I have one of those.
It's a fun gun. It's a lot of fun.
And I find that that with the aftermarket magwell that they did there, that the polymer mags like PMags don't like to come out after you put them in. They like to hang up.
And that's exactly why this one is running actually a steel. This is a C Products steel, stainless steel mag. So.
Yeah, so there you go. If you've got one of those, run the aluminum magazines or steel magazines in it. There you go. So who's next? I guess that makes. Are we going to go to Jeff? Jeff's was going to be really easy. Jeff's will be super simple. He can explain.
Everybody's going to like his the most.
Well, I wanted to be different than the other kids on the school ground, so I am using my ASP AK. And actually, the thought behind this is it's the one I use the most because I use this when I do my workouts. I've got my own gym, and obviously I don't take this one to the gym. I'd probably get the cops called on me or something because of all the communists. But with this, I use it all the time. When I'm doing my lunges and I'm doing my squats and all of that, I translate all that into shooting positions that I'd normally use, and so the ASP AK, and I can leave it out. I've got.
Is it weight appropriate?
It is weight appropriate, so it's got some heft to it. You can see I modified it. I bought like a cheap red dot sight that I threw up there on a rail that I bolted on top, so I can use either the iron sights or a red dot sight. But now I can get in my reps for presentation from high gun, low gun, retracted gun, whatever, 10 gun, as I'm doing my stuff and I'm working out. So it's the one I use the most. And so that's what I'm hugging today.
There you go. All right, Lefty, what do you got?
All right. So I'm doing kind of a repeat, but not really a repeat of Brian. I've got my ODS 1775. A thing of beauty here.
Yeah.
It's got his folding stock on it. What do you call your stocks, Brian? It's not the hexagon ones or the honeycomb ones. You're muted.
He's saying something really awesome right now, though.
I know.
Sorry, I was working feverishly to post the links to the live stream here and couldn't find my way back to the unmute button. That is the Heck 2.0 folder, and I think what Marty's got set up on his is more or less what I also built for James. His is two-tone Cerakote,
tiger camo.
Yeah, and he's got
Kirkham shelf on mine.
Yes, he has a connoisseurs of the AK will note that the Kirkham shelf, whether you are a pro or a beginner, will shave time off your reload. It's very interesting. That young new shooters can use it. I don't want to say as a crutch, but it helps them index the mag like massively faster than they otherwise would have. And my pro shooters seem to be able to shave about a third of a second off, which is a really big deal. So it's an awesome feature. Yeah, it really likes Bakelights.
Everything likes Bakelights.
Marty's flexing before you flexed. He's flexing.
So
Bakelight, baby.
Marty, for people that don't know what the Kirkham shelf is, can you just show them on the?
Yeah, kind of do a highlight of it.
There we go.
Yeah,
turn it the other way.
You got to turn it the other way. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Since we have the man himself here,
let's let him talk about it.
Yeah, maybe Jeff, would you mind talking about the first Kirkham shelf and where it was made and why, and what it was fabricated out of, and what the welder was that you used to do it?
Yeah.
What you make sure you get those all in that order.
Not that I have specific requests about what you say. It's just such a great story.
So I was just looking for ways that could get the magazine in a little bit easier in the dark under stress, wearing NVGs or not wearing NVGs in the dark. I equate everything back to, if I can do it, my personal ethos is if I can do it scared shitless in the dark, then it's probably a good technique. Not that the other techniques aren't good. They're just not going to be at the top of the toolbox that I'm going to use. And so with this, we put the shell, it was like, hey, how do I improve this or looking at it? And so I went down, I was in Afghanistan, and we had guys that would weld and fabricate for us, and it was stick welders. And so I got I was like, look, I need to put like a shelf on here. So we got the tuna can opener. So it was the can opener portion for the tuna cans for AK ammo, 7.62 39. Got that. We cut a piece off of that, stuck that on the side, stick welded it on. It looked like, it's essentially just stacking metal. So it was a testament to the AK. And it was one of those moments where when I went out to test fire it, it was kind of like one of these like, I hope this isn't going to blow up in my face type things, probably not one of the smarter things I've done. And, and it was like, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, oh, okay, it works. Boom, 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 boom. And so it just took off from there. It's just, it was an idea that popped up, and it was like, let's try it. And so we did, out of a chunk of an old rat trap AK that we had laying around, and out of a tuna can opener for the ammo, and away we went. And so, yeah, I had that. So I had that on all of my AKs that I carried in the war for, almost, better part of 10 years.
That you didn't get to bring that back with you?
No, I didn't get to bring that back with me. So
not that you know of.
It was one of those things where it's like, go to prison, bring back, I'll leave it. Yeah. One thing that I did do though, Marty, that you can do is I painted. I went to Hot Topics. If you guys know what Hot Topics is,
that's right.
And I bought the most nauseatingly neon yellow nail polish that they had, and I would paint the inside of the shelf. I would paint that in yellow. So then when you were indexing, you could pick up that elbow you could pick up that yellow really fast and slide that rifle in, and away you go, or slide the magazine in, and away you go.
It's all muscle memory. Touch and feel, baby. Touch and feel.
I will cheat. every single time.
You'll look,
muscle memory training, and oh, by the way, I want visible cues and somebody yelling in my ear and a coach if I can have it.
You're a cuck.
So you'd go to the Hot Topic in like Karachi or something and pick it up.
No, I brought it with me. So I'm like my pistols, my Glock, the inside the magazine well, I paint that yellow. It's like, look, if it gives me that much of an advantage, it's that much of an advantage.
I like the idea that Jeff went through, that he went through airport security and customs with Hot Topic, super Dayglow nail polish and his carry-on. That's what I like the idea.
See, I was ahead of my time. If I did it now, TSA would be like,
yeah, whatever.
So which shade goes better with my paint scheme, Jeff?
I just get that neon yellow, nauseating.
The bright yellow. What about glow in the dark?
I thought you were a media guy. Can't you just like take a picture of yourself and then like Photoshop it and tell you which one's going to look the best?
That's right.
Come on,
I got
we're all
primary
capable.
arms 1 to 6 optic on here. The ACSS primary arms. If anybody's ever
You're
tried
shooting
that.
precision with that sucker, huh?
That's right.
This is my deer slayer, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Puts meat in the freezer.
That's right.
All right, Jared. Where's yours?
You know, it's sitting over here, but it's the only flex I had was the bake light, and he took it from me.
No, you got to flex because yours is different.
See? Look at that sucker.
Get the gat.
Oh, it's your turn.
Oh, you want me to go before you? Okay.
Well, that was a 5.45 mag too, so that has a different kind of flex to it.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted him to do. I want him to flex with this AK-74 flex.
Like a $90 magazine.
So, this one right here, this is the one I've had the longest. I've had this for basically about 30 years or so, 29 and a half years, 30 years. This is a Mahdi. This is the Egyptian Mahdi AK. Now, it's not original furniture. The furniture on here is about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, Tapco said, "Hey, people are starting to buy AKs. Let's do laminated hardwood furniture." So I got a set of it. They sent it to me, and I was like, "All right, I'll stick it on that sucker right there." But yeah, I didn't realize when I got this thing that I was going to be getting something that was going to be very difficult to find in the future. I don't know if you guys have looked for a genuine Mahdi AK. This is from, the stamping on this says imported and distributed by PARS International, Louisville, Kentucky. So
in 2006, I was at a gun show and there was a dude that was selling one of those for like $275, and I thought he was trying to take me.
Ah! Oh, dude.
And
man, if you go to Gunbroker right now, I believe if you can find one listed, it's in the $1,800 range if you can find one listed. So, this is my, and of course it was a Bush era import, so it has the freaking bayonet lug filed down because, bayonets are too dangerous for peasants to own. When I say Bush era, I mean the first one. I don't mean the second one. I mean the first one. The CIA Bush, not the National Guard Bush. What are you doing over there, Jared? Technical issue. Okay.
Well,
right. You guys have technical issues, or are you good?
We're good. And okay. I have one interesting thing about the Mahdi that I'll share to fill a little time, if that's okay. And it's that the Egyptian military is one of the only ones that is not fully funded by tax dollars that I'm aware of. And the Mahdi brand made stoves, refrigerators, guns, all kinds of different stuff to fund the military. And I kind of love that idea, that to be somewhat self-supporting. And so that gun there was built to fund their defense force.
So very cool. Very cool. When Jared's going to come back up and he's going to talk about this guy right here. that I'm holding. So I don't see it. Zach, are you there? Are there any pertinent questions, or can we hold those for later?
We can hold those for later.
What is that? The VZ58? What is that?
No. This is
Can't see. Oh, gotcha.
Zach, you got the promo video?
Yes, I messaged you about it.
Oh, okay. Well, you messaged me about it like now?
Like Jared about it.
Oh, yeah.
The joys of
play
live.
it? He said go ahead and play it. So you have an AK that shoots arrows, Marty? Is that what you...
So we're going to take a quick intermission to play this video right here. All
right, everybody watch the video.
Are we playing it over the talking? I don't know what Jared has in his brain.
An AK bow.
I'm just going to play it real quick.
Years. 11 Hug Your AK days. We had 11 thugs there. Some of them were famous thugs. Some of them were famous thugs. You guys may have recognized our boy Sonny in there. You may have recognized Lynn Thompson from Cold Steel in there.
Yeah, I didn't see the video.
Oh, you guys didn't see the video?
Yeah, it wasn't shared through the screen, so
it was shared through the stream. Yeah.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, Willis.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah, we've had some people. We had some famous people join us for the AK Day. And if you actually, it's funny. If you type in National Hug Your AK Day into Google, there's a website that is the National Everything Day. Like you can just go to that website and it'll tell you what that day is. Hug a puppy or eat a donut or whatever. Well, they put us on there, but they put us as the 20th of October. All right, what the hell, man?
Sons of bitches.
I know. So, but yeah, that was funny that the normies found out about it, and somehow, although it's probably just an algorithm. There's probably no humans running that. It's probably just an algorithm.
Something you have to register? Do you have to send that in? Or
no, we didn't send anything in. I discovered it accidentally. I typed in our thing, National Hug Your AK, and it came up.
What you're saying is, if there's enough of a grassroots movement, we can create our own holidays.
That's right. We can.
Oh,
Jeff,
don't tell me that. That's evil kind of power.
Yeah. Jeff, did you listen to Alice's Restaurant, man?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. If one person goes in, they'll think you're crazy and they won't take you. But if 5 people, 10, if 50 people go in and sing at a bar at Alice, they'll think it's a movement.
That's right.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's what it is.
That's a true fact, though. I mean, did you see that video from a couple days ago where there were some CrossFit heathens running down the street and everybody thought it was like a panic, so they all took off running after them? Like it just completely cleared the street restaurant. I'm like,
everyone started running too.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you know what?
Wow.
You got to hand it to them. It's good situational awareness. I mean, they probably should have looked and at a little bit more situation. But it's better than standing there like, what's going on?
It's like
took action. Yeah.
It's like the bomb tech. It's like, if you see me running, try and keep up.
So when are we coining National Wood Chipper Day?
Oh, I don't know.
I see.
I got my hands filled with this stuff.
Fair.
If you'd like to do that. Well, Marty, I was gonna reference you. Oh, so all right, raise your hand if you have listened to Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant. Oh man, you two.
What the hell you're talking about?
Marty, how are you a DJ and you don't know that? Aren't you a DJ at 107.9 Nashville's Classic Rock?
Why 107?
Oh. 107 Nashville's Classic. coming at you.
Hey, Marty, don't feel bad. I had no clue who it was either.
Well, fill us in.
All right. See, all right. This is your homework, all you freaks. When I was coming up, every single Thanksgiving, wherever I lived, whether it's Detroit or wherever, the rock station would play Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. It was from 1967, and it's a folk song, but it's funny as shit. Can
we get your audio guy to give us a clip?
It's hilarious. I don't know. Are we allowed to do that?
I don't know.
Are we allowed to do that live? Will they shut us down? Will Fascist Book shut us down for copyrighted music? I don't know.
Fantastic question.
Yeah, that is a question. That's a question that I had. So, and they would tell you, they're like, okay, on Thanksgiving Day at noon or 1 p.m. or 11 a.m. or whatever, they're like, we're playing Alice's Restaurant because it's 18 minutes long. So you had to be prepared. And they play it one time on Thanksgiving because he references Thanksgiving.
It's a song.
Yeah, it's a song called Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. Arlo Guthrie was the son of Woody Guthrie, the American folk musician. The OG American folk musician, Woody Guthrie. So I'm guessing, Curtis, you went to public school and you didn't learn any of that stuff.
I went to public school for high school, yeah, but I don't hardly listen to music anymore.
Well, so. This was 1967, so it's not a new song.
Yeah, I got that.
We weren't alive then.
I got that. I mean, what I mean is, like, I've pretty much gotten out of the whole practice these days.
You don't listen to music?
Not really.
What do you work out to?
Joe Rogan.
Books. Yeah, I catch up on my books.
On tape. Oh no.
Yeah.
My problem is like when I'm on the assault bike and I'm breathing so heavy that I can't hear anything. It's like the only thing that drowns it out is like heavy metal. I like when I'm listening to Rogan or Jordan Peterson or one of those. I've got to be I want to be able to focus on it. Whereas if I'm like I don't get anything out of it.
No.
Nah, man. I kind of like fade. I'll queue up a book. I usually gravitate towards like a fantasy novel or something like that. I melt into it, man. Like I look up and it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours later. I'm like, well, fuck. Can I say that? I can't say that.
No.
You just did.
Shit.
And then you said that.
I'm envious. I wish I could do that. I tried and I was just like, God damn it, I didn't get anything out of that. And I know there was good information there. So
I'm wearing my gym clothes right now. I actually just got back from my evening session. So I was there for an hour and a half.
I'm envious. I wish I could.
Couldn't even tell you what I did.
What'd you listen to?
I'm listening to a novel called Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. He's a British author, but it's a
little fiction or what?
It's a fiction. Yeah, it's a medieval fantasy novel.
Medieval, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like post-apocalyptic fiction, I can recommend a good book.
Or three, right?
A series. Keep you busy for a long time.
Yeah. I'll do it for you. Hey, let me pump Jeff's tires for a little bit. I'm a massive prepper fiction fan and prepper nonfiction. And Black Autumn, for my money, is tied with William Fortune's 1 Second After and 48 Hours for the best prepper fiction out there that also gives you actionable. In my mind, we should worry second about the quality of literature and first about how much propaganda and doctrine can you get shoved in your ear hole through a story. And Jeff delivers both very, very well. Very easy to listen to if you're an Audible person. The reader that he has going is first rate. And
who's his reader?
I can't remember the dude's name. It's been hold on, I got it right here because I'm listening to him on another. He read another series
because I'm due for so this book, and then this book is like the mid level of the series that I'm currently listening to. There's another trilogy that I need to finish, but as soon as I do that, I'm going to get out of regular like traditional fantasy and go to like an urban / post-apocalyptic one type thing. And I had my kind of eyes set on a different one, but if one of my friends, if one of my friends is doing something or has done something, I need to go do that.
Well, I'll give you another one. I've been reading a series by Nicholas Orr. Have you read those yet?
I've heard of Nicholas Orr. This is with my clicky pen. What's going on?
What's the name of the series, Marty? Tell him.
Pipe Hitter's Guide, right, Marty? Is that what you're reading?
No,
he's reading the fiction.
The Nicholas Orr. There's like three so far in the series. Is there more than 3?
There's actually 5 books in the series.
There's 5. I've got the first 3, I guess.
So what's it called? Say the
what's
name,
it called,
man.
Damn it.
There's 3. I can't remember.
It's called The Operator.
The Operator
series. You freak.
Why you do that?
The Operator series. I just jump into them, man. I don't even read titles.
Well, yeah,
the first female.
The first one's called The Operator. The second one's called Sin City, and the third one is called Operation Diomedes.
I haven't got to that one. I'm on number 2.
Are those
spell his name? Spell his last name so I can confirm.
ORR.
ORR. Okay, cool.
Nicholas Orr. I don't know if they're on audio or not. I'll sit down and read.
Well, I usually at any time I'm running one in audio and usually one in paper, just because there are times I like to have the paper and read it, but more often than not, I burn through audiobooks much faster because I use my car time. I use my workout time. It's pretty hard to run on a treadmill or run down the street holding the book. Right.
Well, actually, if back in the old days, Jeff, you'll remember this, the old days of like Nautilus gyms and stuff, they had a book rack in front of you on the treadmill. And women would sit there with a book or magazine in front of them, and they would flip. Yeah. People are like, wow. There's no way that happened.
I was amazed at that superpower because I could never.
Yeah.
I tried reading once. I got spit out the back end. I was like,
no way. But yeah, they actually had an area where you could put a book or a magazine on your treadmill.
Yep.
So there's a specific skill for that, and I don't read that way. I have to look directly at the words and follow them along. There are people that can open a book and just let their eyes kind of glaze and use their peripheral vision to read the whole page.
I think those are serial killers.
I think they're fake reading. I don't think they're really reading.
Perhaps maybe they cheated and read it beforehand, but I don't know. I can't do it. I've tried. It makes me ill. I can't do it.
Did any of you guys, speaking of books, did you when you were in school, did your English teachers try and teach you to speed read?
Yeah, they tried.
Yeah. When I was in, we had a speed reading class.
I took a remedial reading class. I had to get caught up.
They also taught us.
They
also tried to teach us how to type, and their method for teaching us how to type was ridiculously stupid.
I took typing class and learned how.
Yeah, I can type real good.
Yeah, I can type really, really good, but I don't use their method. So
I don't know what the method was. The method for me was don't look at the keyboard. Yes. Look up. And they had the keyboard posters on the walls in the class.
Oh, we didn't even have those.
Yeah, the instructors like, if you can't remember where a key is, look up at the poster. Do not look down. That was the main thing. Was you need to learn to memorize the keys. Stop looking down.
Yeah, the only problem with that is I just got a brand spanking new keyboard. This is an E-Vega.
Look at you, man.
And it's a different dimension than my previous keyboard. So
I hate using other people's keyboards.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it took me 2 months to learn this keyboard. So
when you learn on a real typewriter and then you type on a keyboard, you wear those keyboards out because typewriters, you got to hit them a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
That brings the shit out of computer keyboards.
I just retired a laptop, and the F key, the F wasn't just gone. All of the color was gone, and it was a translucent key, and you could see the spring underneath it. That's
what were you typing for that had an F?
Well, that's where your fingers rest.
The home row keys. You
okay. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to deduce what kind of porn you watch based on why your F key was gone.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I think I have the thing figured out.
So anyway, I'm going to hand Jared his rifle. He can talk
about this very briefly. And the reason why is because the AK that I use the most is not in this room. So I said, Dad, throw me an AK real quick. So I'm going to learn about this today when he tells you about it.
Okay.
This right here is Marty already flexed.
It's a Bakelite.
Yes.
I didn't go into details.
So what I'm going to let you do is go into deep details about that rifle.
Okay, so this is a 545 Bakelite right here. It's a genuine Bakelite. It's not a fake. It's not a fake bake.
That's right.
It's got the hole in the back of it. And
it even came.
Does it have a
wooden crate?
Yeah, it even came in a wooden crate.
Because it dropped. They dropped it on us with the wooden crate.
All right, this is when Century decided, hey, let's import another and assemble another 545. So it has the crank brake on it. It actually has a cleaning rod. It's got the plum furniture on it, which makes it look legit. It's got the dimpled plum furniture stock right there, which you guys will appreciate. You aficionados will appreciate. It even has the happy hole. Yeah. It's got the happy hole there to put your AK, which is really a simple, intelligent way to do it. That's one thing I respect about, whether it was Kalashnikov or the Soviet. They're like, how can we make this so ridiculously simple yet functional? Whereas Americans and Germans tend to over-engineer things. But otherwise, it's a standard AK. It's got the green stock and everything. And I love the 545. For whatever reason, Americans just never caught on to it, and so it's hard to sell them in America. And of course, they didn't do us any favors when Comrade Barry screwed us on the 76N. But it was Comrade Barry that screwed us on that, right? Yeah, it was Comrade Barry that screwed us on that.
7N6.
Yeah, 7N6. So
sorry, my ADD kicked in for a second.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but yeah. So that is one of them, and the crazy thing is, and Jeff, you know this, is the 545. They just don't with a crank brake. They just don't move. You take side videos of those things, and they're just like
545 is awesome. We had in Afghanistan, we had 545s. I think they were from Poland, and they had full auto. Well, it was. I'm trying to remember how it was set up, but it was all the way down was full auto. Then the next one was 3-round burst. Then the next one was semi. I may be screwing that up in the next one, but they had a 3-round burst and a full auto. But on 3-round burst at 25 meters, you could put all 3 rounds into like a 6x6. I mean, it's a fantastic shooting round. Yeah, it's really good round. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the Spetsnaz guys made real good use of that round.
That is one gun that I don't own, but I have so much ammunition for it that I should probably go get one.
It's fantastic.
I'll send a DHL truck to your house.
It's a great shooting round. It's very little muzzle rise. I have a 5.56 AK, and it's really good with the muzzle rise. But the 5.45 is I mean, really flat. It's the Afghans used to call it the poison round, and because of the damage that it do. It's a great CQB round.
Yeah,
it has to do with the way the quote unquote, we would call it a penetrator, but the steel shaft that's in it basically is softer than the stuff that we use, and it's longer. So when it hits flesh, it deforms and it just does nasty shit, man.
Yeah. So what we found when we were shooting metal, so the steel core would punch right through metal. A lot of some of the ceramic plates, it would go through. The steel plates, it would typically hum right through. The polyethylene plates, the Spectra and Dyneema, would stop it. The reason is the bullet is long and slim, and the first 3 millimeters in the tip of the bullet are hollow. And so it's a full metal jacket, but it's hollow. And so what would happen is when that bullet would hit something, the nose would crinkle over, the bullet would yaw, and in gel tests, the bullet would do a double 90 before it, was, exited or stayed in the gel block. So it was a great round. It was hard because it was the way that it was set up with a mild steel core penetrator that was in there. That did a great job through smashing through plates and stuff, but it also caused the yawing to take place. It limited some of the accuracy because it's very difficult to get that steel penetrator exactly centered in the bullet. But overall, I mean, the Russians did a fantastic job with that bullet.
Do you have any insight on how those cartridges were manufactured? Did they make the jacket and then insert the penetrator and then fill? Or how did they do it in a term that somebody who is familiar with modern manufacturing techniques would be able to?
It's my understanding, and Brian may have some better insight on this, but it's my understanding that the hollow nose was accidental because it is long and thin. They couldn't get the lead to go all the way down. So to answer your question on the manufacturing, so when they were putting the lead in, it wasn't going all the way down, which leads me to believe that they were probably trying to inject around the penetrator. But Brian, you've probably got a better thought on that. But it was my understanding it was totally accidental that happened. And then when they tested it, they were like, whoa, what's going on? They went back and saw that it was a manufacturing deficiency. And they were like,
all right, it is good. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't have any additional insight on that, but lots and lots of the innovations that I've come up with have been noticing accidents. The Bob Ross thing, no mistakes, just happy accidents, happy little clouds. And we've one example for the Merc. I happened upon the same thing that the Russians figured out for the AK-12, which is that the accuracy is massively better if the gas tube is really tight up against the gas block. And in the case of the AK-12, it's welded in. And I believe that's why they did that. In the case of mine, I was having one day where the gun would be amazing. The next day I'd be stringing 8 inches at 50 yards and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And it was that I hadn't tied down the gas tube enough. And we ended up ripping off the buffer tube system for an AR-15. That's how we tension the gas tube on the Merc and on our rifles and pistols, is just by pushing it real hard up against that gas tube or against the gas block, and you can accurize it beautifully. I never would have known that if I wasn't stringing shots and having something awful happen.
I tell my boys the first rule of science is pay attention.
Heck.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, gents, I got to go.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for being here.
Jeff, always a pleasure, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'm a local Cub Scout den leader, and so I'm doing my part to bring up the next generation in a good way. So
doing the Lord's work. Good job.
Will you be attending SHOT Show this year?
I'm gonna try. All
right.
Thanks,
well,
Jeff.
hopefully we'll see you there.
I'll
see you at SHOT, Jeff.
Yep.
All right, man. I'll probably see you next week, Paul.
Okay.
Or maybe even tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys.
See ya.
Take care.
Zach, we've since we're in about the middle of the stream now, go ahead and play the Hug Your AK promo video. And if you need to switch around the screens, you can do that during that video.
Oh, should I play it again? I played it.
Yes.
Okay, one second.
Do 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 ba da da do ba da da do 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 do. I don't know who that last guy was.
You had me in there.
Some dude.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I still didn't see it.
I was like number 4 or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, do we have any pertinent questions? Oh, and back to what our boy Brian was talking about. Nicholas Orr he's written the Operator series, and it is there's a fiction series called The Operator, but he has also written 2 books that are nonfiction about essentially helping people to strengthen their communities and prepare for the coming societal collapse. And one's called The Pipeter's Guide to Preparing what is it? Pipeter's Guide to Prepare for the Coming Societal Collapse?
Crushing the Coming Societal Breakdown.
Yeah, the Coming Societal Breakdown. And then this one right here, which is to the Citizens Irregular Defense Corps, how to organize your friends and neighbors and so forth.
Sorry, Nick, we forgot your book titles.
And so, if you don't mind me giving a short book report.
Yeah, I think Brian has recently read them.
Yeah, I have taken a ton of training, and as things get more and more close to midnight, as far as I can tell, I've started to very seriously pick up my pace, and I've had a bunch of small unit tactics. But when I thought about how to talk to my neighbors and get the neighborhood on a more prepared footing, I was at a real loss. And Paul had mentioned these books. And I cracked them, and they're phenomenal. And there are some very practical tips in there to solve real-world problems, like how do you actually secure your cul-de-sac if you and your neighbors are all on board and you'd like to keep the Mongol horde out? And I don't want to spoil too much, but there's caltrops, there's sandbags. He talks about using junk cars, not good cars, as roadblocks, and how to set all that stuff up. And we've already seen during the George Floyd riots, that stuff would have been very useful at getting some of these heathens to go a different place. So really short to the point, you can crank each one out in 4 hours or so. I've started handing them out to my neighbors who are down, and highly recommend them.
That's a good review. We'll have to clip that and
we need to clip that. Tell Nicholas Orr. And the thing about the Operator series, the fiction series, and I think Marty probably is realized it is fiction, but there are some little nuggets in there.
Real life tips and tricks are sewn in throughout the entire series. That practical, useful, if you're paying attention while you're reading.
Yeah, if you're paying attention, you just got to pay attention while you're reading it.
Got to pay attention while you're reading.
And just to throw this in there real quick,
treadmill.
Just throw this in there
Go
real
ahead,
quick.
Zach.
If anybody heard Brian's review and was like, "Oh man, that has motivated me greatly. I would like to read this book." It's available right now on shopsotg.com if you want a Pimp Hand approved physical copy, or if you just want a Kindle version, just read on your phone. Then you can go over to Amazon and you can get it there. That is The Pipeter's Guide to Crushing the Coming Societal Breakdown by Nicholas Orr.
I've been trying to get the guy on the show.
I know he's an elusive son of a bitch.
He is.
Come on our show. It's like, what the hell, man?
He is elusive. He likes his privacy, but we'll do him a favor and we'll go ahead and talk about him here. I think he's hanging out with that guy up in Park City.
That dude. Yeah,
that one guy up in Park City. Yeah,
the Jack guy.
That's funny.
Now,
Operation Diomedes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You recognize that? You recognize it? Are you an educated man?
I'd have to dig back a little bit, but
does he look educated?
I am actually.
That's right.
Diomedes is a character in the Iliad.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm pretty sure that's Greek. Yeah.
He's one of the Greeks. He's one of the Trojans. Yeah. Not the Trojans, the other ones. He hung out with Achilles. He was hanging out with Achilles. Who actually went rampaging with Diomedes that night? Was it Achilles? No, it wasn't Achilles because he was pouting in his tent.
It wasn't Hector.
No, Hector was he was a Trojan
dude. Yeah.
No, and Hermes is a god. So if Jeff was here, if Scott was here, we would know.
Yeah.
But anyways, bust out your copy of the Iliad. I think it's actually chapter 10. I think Rampaging Through the Night is chapter 10 of the Iliad, and it was Diomedes was one of the ones who went rampaging through the night. See, they even talked about night fighting, like in the 470 BC or whenever that was.
Yeah,
something like that. Actually, it's pretty interesting to me, just as a quick aside, if you're a student of anything martial, to go back and read the Iliad and to read about what they were, the battle tactics. And I know it's...
Is that a book on tape?
Yeah. Yes. Probably. I'm
It's
sure it is.
It's on Audible.
I'm sure that...
I guarantee it's on Audible. I guarantee it is.
Yeah.
I've listened.
The reason I asked that is because I found that on Audible. So
yeah, Operation Diomedes is the only one that's actually on Audible right now.
Yeah.
So if you have to consume that,
you're talking about. Jared, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say we have 3 kindred spirits on this stream. It's myself, Curtis, and Marty. We all like to listen to books, apparently, and then we've got the old timers over here that like to actually read these things.
Well, I'm a hybrid. I like to read also.
I do like to read. It's just I have substantially less time to sit down and fumble paper than I do.
So when I'm on a plane, when I'm flying, I like to read. I don't like to listen. I like to read.
Especially because you got the damn engines that are blowing right next to your head. You can't hardly hear anything anyway.
Yeah. I use Audible to see if a book is worth buying. So I'll listen to some of it or all of it, and then I'll buy it and read it.
That's a little weird.
No, I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing where I've been reading and listening at the same time, particularly series that have a whole bunch of books that may or may not need to be read in sequential order.
I think that we're finding out about something new about Curtis. The fantasy addiction seems to be pretty real.
That's why he was wondering what the F key was for, because
it's a specific time period too.
Yeah,
medieval. What's got you fascinated about the medieval days?
Oh, I just think that there's a lot of really well written stuff done in those periods. I think that's the period that draws a lot of really excellent fiction writers too.
Do you watch any TV?
I mean, I have some TV stuff, but I don't have cable or anything like that. Like
nobody has cable anymore.
Huh?
The Game of Thrones. Did you watch any of that?
Yeah, that was trash.
You dig it?
Okay,
No, I mean,
it got better.
We got to pin Curtis down. Are you a Wheel of Time nerd?
Actually, I feel like the Wheel of Time is very, in my opinion, it's kind of juvenile,
shallow, and pedantic.
Yeah, it felt very copied. I haven't made it all the way through because I read, and then I'm like, I just can't. Right, this mimics too many things, and I haven't finished the series yet just because of that. I do like Game of Thrones, the books. I wish the bastard would finish them.
What's the point now, though? That's the thing.
Which is your favorite Robin Hood? Kevin Costner, Russell Crowe, or that new dude?
That's a great answer, man.
Okay, I give up. What is your all-time favorite in this genre, Curtis? Because I don't know it well.
Right now, if I had to say, I really, and this one could be good for anybody who really likes, who's into both, the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. They've currently got 2 trilogies. One of them starts out medieval, and then it moves. It uses the same concepts that were developed in the first series to a Wild West style series. And then he's going to do another time hop that's going to be more like future, like multi-planet human type stuff. But we'll see if he ever gets there.
Nice.
Speaking of which,
speaking of, And speaking
Zach?
of books, and Dad, you mentioned earlier about Marshall. So something that might actually be able to tune into our current conversation, which is you just wrote a book recently, Dad, called "The Marshall Application of the Rifle." In that book, did you discuss the AK-47 at all, or the AK make?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I talked about the AK and the AR and the.
Well, tell us about it.
The FAL and.
You hadn't read it, Zach?
Yeah. Yeah. Zach's he's never read it.
Your
man.
dad's book.
Like, tell me about it. Now, the Marshall application of the rifle I did, and of course, everybody owns an AR, but how many people actually run them? And I believe that there's probably about 5 styles of rifle that if you're going to consider yourself to be well schooled, that you should know how to run and operate. Obviously, the stoner-based whatever, the stoner-based AR-15. There's a million freaking copies of that. An AK, obviously, some kind of an AKM style. A roller lock gun like an HK something. Then there's a lot of copies of those. The FN, the FAL, which isn't, FN doesn't even make an FAL anymore, but other people do, and there's so many copies of those in the world. I think at one time during the Cold War, I think there was probably 10 to a dozen countries making licensed copies of those guns. And then the last one is a Garand style. Whether it's a Mini 14, whether it's an M1 carbine, whether it's an M14 or whatever, those are all, essentially the Garand style of gun. And if you can run all 5 of those well, if you could show people how to remove magazines, show people how to lock bolts to the rear, because, and that's one of the things that Orr talks about in his books, especially this book. He has a section in here called Foreign Weapons. And he said, what's going to happen is your neighbors, if a crisis occurs, if and when a crisis occurs, your neighbors are all going to show up. Especially if you're the guy, if you're the military veteran in your neighborhood, or if you're the whatever, you've become known as the gun guy, or maybe you're just the guy who organized the neighborhood watch, or
Let's be real, we're all those guys.
Yeah, we're all that guy. So, and your neighbors know who you are. So when the Katrina hits, when the crisis hits, when the earthquake happens, they're gonna like show up in your front lawn with their whatever in tow. Whatever it happens to be that they have. And, that's not the time to say, yeah, that gun right there is crap. Go get a different one. Go trade that. Go down to the store and trade that and get a SIG Elite Combat 5.56 or whatever. No, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to, it's like the CIDC. They had to teach the SF in like Vietnam. They had to deal with whatever. They had guys that had World War II bolt-action guns. They had SKSs. They had dudes that just had machetes. So how do you work with these guys? And how do you – first of all, how do you function check that gun to make sure that it actually works? Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a lot of people walking around on planet Earth who own guns that don't work. They own guns that don't have the correct ammunition. I've had people show up for classes with guns. I had a woman show up for a concealed carry handgun class, with a revolver that her uncle had given her that was so out of tune, it was so out of timing that it wouldn't fire 2 rounds in a row. She had to press the trigger 2 to 3 times to get a round to go off. And she had it loaded on her nightstand just in case for years. That's the reality. And so if you're going to be the go-to guy, you're going to have to be able to deal with that. And the idea that, everybody's got their faves, and you're like, oh, well, if you're not going to carry a 1911, I'm not going to talk to you. Or if you're not going to carry this gun, I'm not going to talk to you, because that's all garbage. That's elitist crap, and that's not going to help people. So and when it comes to handguns, if you know how to run a striker-fired Glock, everybody makes a striker-fired gun. You can, if you know how to run a single-action gun like a Tokarev or a 1911 or whatever, and there are enough of them out there that you need to know how to run a 226 style with a side decocker. And then you've got these ancient relics like the old SIGs, the Berettas, and so forth, where they decided to retardedly put the decockers and the safeties backwards on the slides. Those exist, and you need to know how to use them, and you need to know how to function check them. And of course, double action revolvers. I know they kind of come and go in vogue anymore, but you got to know how to run that stuff.
I have a question. I have a question for you. So everything you just said, I think is exceptionally valid. I just have one question about that. The choice of including the FAL in there. If you can run a roller delayed gun, then you can run an FAL.
Yeah, but they're not the same.
They're not the same. Like if you had to take it down and take it apart and take care of it, that would be different. But if some jackwagon shows up to your lawn with one and needs to fight with it, then I don't know that would be nearly as pertinent as including something like the 12 gauge shotgun.
Well, I didn't mention shotguns yet.
Okay.
Shotguns. There's a whole entire chapter in here on shotguns.
Oh, okay.
There's an entire chapter in this book called The Shotgun Militia. And
then we also have an entire book called The Martial Application of the Shotgun.
Yes, and there's also one called The Martial Application of the Pistol. You see where we're going with that?
Yeah.
It's almost like Curtis is on the same
It's almost like we did that on purpose.
Yeah, that's a great point, though.
We're creeping up on an hour. Actually, we've passed an hour of the stream here, and I'm aware that people have commitments they need to get to. So we got a couple questions from the audience, and
yes, let's do them, and then we'll pop smoke.
Lefty will hit you up about that afterwards. So first question from Warsaw Patriot is, what's your thoughts on the PSA Spiker? And we can start with Dad, and then go Dad, Brian, Curtis, Lefty.
I'll let you other geeks talk about that.
All right then.
You guys have an opinion on the PSA Spiker?
I don't touch anything made by PSA.
There you go.
Tell us what it is. Educate us.
What is a PSA Spiker?
All right, one moment, and I'm
assuming it's probably
Google
like an AK of some sort.
Okay, the PSA AK-47 quote Spiker, Soviet Arms AK-47 quote Spiker rifle, available from Palmetto State Armory, brand Soviet Arms.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's an homage to the Chinese Norinco spikers. It's so there's a bayonet that flips out that is stowed in normal configuration.
A Chinese folder.
Yep. And then it's got a fixed wood stock that looks more like the Yugo variety than not, with the cant or a Norinco. And the grip is very Norinco looking. It's wood with a little wedge in it, a la there's a few countries that do that. But
okay. Yeah. So they call it the Type 56 Spiker clone. I actually, when it comes to practicality, I'm very much in favor of the folding pig stickers. And the reason they did, look, if you look at an SKS, and we did a video about it, but that was very smart from a practical standpoint, because if you're going into a village and you're going to arm a bunch of insurgents, you got to think about who you're giving these rifles to. Most of them probably don't read. And if you start mixing up parts, what that guy, and the truth is what that guy will do, if you hand him a rifle and then you hand him a separate bayonet in a scabbard, what that guy will do is he'll take that bayonet in that scabbard and he'll go use it to dig grubs for fishing, or he'll use it to split coconuts or whatever. And then he'll take his rifle and he'll go out, and the team leader will say fix bayonets, and he'll be like, Dirk, Muhammad Jihad. And his thing is stuck in a coconut back in the hut or whatever. So the really smart thing about that is by putting those fixed bayonets on there, you could literally walk, and that's what they did in Africa and in Asia. They walked into villages, they came in there, and they handed out SKS rifles and bandoliers of 7.62 by 39. They said, we're going to kill the imperialist, capitalist, blah, 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 whatever, and this is what we're going to do. So from a practical standpoint, we as Americans are like, that's bullshit. We're going to get a really good bayonet and watch this and da-da-da-da-da. But you got to think a little bit differently than that. And I don't see anything wrong with it. And the truth is, if you want to talk about an ugly wound, and go back to the Mosin Nagant and that 18-inch pig sticker that they put on there. That's some reach out and touch.
The M37 right, is that what the designation was?
I don't know, but
the short one. The short one. The carbine model with the
yeah, the M44.
The M44. That's
the
what
M44
it was.
has a side folding bayonet on it.
Yeah, that thing's nasty, man.
Yeah. The Chinese M44, the carbine model or the cavalry model or whatever you wanted to call it, which is still a large gun. It's funny that how standards change. How 70 years ago they're like, oh, that's a short gun, and today people are like, well, that's a big heavy gun. Yeah. Our grandfathers, who were average 5'7.5", were carrying 11-pound guns made of, and we modern people are like, oh, 10 pounds is too heavy for a gun. I can't carry that.
You guys ever fired like a real BAR? Like,
yeah.
My goodness gracious, that gun is so freaking heavy to the point where if you shoulder fire it, I can't hold it on target. And
remember that machine gun day you and I used to go to in Ohio, Curtis?
Yeah.
He tried
to drown me.
BAR there.
Men were made out of different stuff back then.
They were. Now, I'm not saying that it's better to have more ammo and less gun weight. I'm not saying that's wrong, but the idea that people are like, oh, it's 10 pounds is too heavy, or a 308's too much recoil, and I'm like, okay.
But that's what you got to look at.
Calm down, bro.
They're exchanging the weight of the gun for more gear, so it's. Yeah. I mean, just probably carrying the same amount of weight. Yeah.
So there you go. That's my opinion about the Spiker. Now that I'm aware that it exists.
Next question from Casey, which is directly to Brian. Casey wants to know if you hugged his rifle for him.
Oh, is he?
I bet this is KCL, and I was petting it last night, in fact, and it got a hug. So yeah.
Well, there you go, Casey. Don't worry, she's not lonely.
Thank you for watching, KCL. Good to see you again.
I just looked it up for the heck of it. 7.25 kilograms is the weight of a BAR.
That's a lot of kilograms,
buddy.
So that's 2.5 per.
To in English.
Hang on, let me translate that to units that actually make sense.
Imperial units.
Yeah, 15.98 pounds.
Yeah,
there you go. It's two of those.
I think you're complaining, Kurt. I think that's not. I think you need to do more squats and start eating some red meat and get back to it.
All I eat is red meat. It's all I eat.
Well, you're clearly not eating enough of it. I'm just saying.
Oh, he wasn't complaining. I think he's complaining.
Hold that wood up, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Show us your wood, man.
Gorgeous.
Some stock panels there, and then we've got rail panels now, too, which are actually really comfy. They do give you some. Our handguard is pretty comfy on its own, but I've got a rather large mitt, and the addition of the wood gives me a little ledge here that's really nice. So if you want some bling on your gat, we have it.
See, what a lot of people don't realize, when Brian said that he says that he has a big mitt, I have a big hand, okay? But last time I did a video with Brian, I had to stand on a concrete block to get us both in frame. So like, he is a really big person. So like, if you've got normal size hands, their hand guards are just fine. But if you need an extra little purchase, then having that extra little stuff on there.
Well, that's true. What people don't know about Brian is, before he got into the gun business, he was actually a stunt double on the TV show Night Court.
Truth.
Richard Mall.
Yeah, cool.
Richard Mall.
Marty got it right away. Thank you, Marty, for getting that.
Man,
he also did commercials for Burger King, too. He's like, what do I do with these tiny little hands? I can't eat that Whopper with these tiny little hands. So
And
before
let's
we
go
head
ahead and
out,
wait. We got one last question,
okay.
All right.
and this is a very appropriate question to end on from FPS Murdoch. What is your favorite make and model of AK?
Oh,
The one that I have in my hand at the time.
All right, now an actual answer.
I like them all.
I like the micro from Century Arms because it makes people angry when you can ding steel with it at 200 or 300 yards over and over and over again because reasons, I guess.
AKs aren't accurate. You
Yeah,
can't
they're
hit
not
anything with
accurate.
them.
It's like, yeah, but this one's this big, and I was hitting.
Maybe just go your least favorite. What's your least favorite AK?
Well, we already know what Curtis's is.
PSA.
I don't know, man. I've had the only AK that I ever had an issue with, and it was weird. It was one of those things that you would never think of. Was the I had a Zastava M70, I think, and I thought, oh, I've got a bunch of brand new PMags and I'll run these in it, and the answer is no, you won't. And I was like, oh, I'll use these desert palm desert. What's the palm desert?
Palm Desert. That's it.
US Palm.
US palm.
US palm.
Yeah, I'll use these US palm. I was like, palm tree. I'll use these US palms in it. And like, no, you won't. And so I discovered that gun would run fine with steel commie mags, and that was it. And of course, the manufacturer would if I were to talk to the manufacturer, they'd be like, duh, that's what we make. That's what is for the gun. You stupid Americans want to be fancy and use your plastic magazines, but we don't. So that was the only one that and it was weird because I'd shot a lot of AKs before I got that one, and I was new, and I took it to the range, and I was having stoppages like crazy. I'm like, what the hell? And it was because it wouldn't run with polymer magazines.
I think that the worst AKs are either the original NPAPs, the 5.56 NPAPs, where they had the proprietary magazines.
Oh yeah.
The ones that were like the NPAP 5.56 magazine. You had to use that particular thing, and they only worked like half the time. Either that, or any of the bastardizations that are they've taken the AKs and put some kind of pistol magwell on them, where they're just, you can't do anything with them because half the time they're not concentrically bored, so you can't put a can on them. They just they operate like crap because they're not sprung well, so the bolt is like jamming against the rear trunnion 3/4 of the time. Like they're like, hey, we have extra parts, let's shove some 9mm crap in them and Americans will buy it.
Well, you know what Century just brought in that I thought was really smart, because Americans want curvy magazines. You know, the one I've got one with that uses the Glock mags, you know, the Glock 31 mag or 31 round Glock mag, and it runs, but it's straight and it doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right. So, and people didn't like it because it doesn't look right.
The aesthetics are off. So
yeah. So what they did is they redesigned one to use Scorpion magazines.
Oh, I do like the Scorpion magazine.
So, and they're like, oh, it looks right now.
Now it looks right.
Now it has the correct curve to it.
Right.
So now it's okay.
No, it's still wrong because it's in the wrong caliber. Like
Before somewhere, I can't remember where it was though.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So, and is that it? Is that it for questions? Jared, do you have a AK you don't hate? You don't have one you hate or love or the ODS 1775? That's the Cadillac of, or is it the Land Rover? Is it the Land Rover of
Lamborghini,
AKs?
baby?
I'm gonna go Toyota Hilux.
It's the
If I
Hilux.
have to have an opinion.
Yeah,
that's
there you
actually a glowing endorsement.
go. It's the Hilux.
Yeah, I'm humble bragging pretty hard there, but that's what I aspire to the level of reliability and trustworthiness of a Hilux.
There you go.
That's right.
There's a story to be told off screen on that. So
Well,
for those of you who don't know about the Hilux, the Tacoma is a neutered version of kind of the best truck ever made, and they have them in diesel. And the true Hilux is diesel, and they're extraordinary.
yeah, and we can't get them in America.
You can't get them.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how apolitical we've managed to keep this whole thing. I won't ruin it now, but yeah.
Well,
hold on. Before
everybody in our audience knows.
Yeah. Before we head out of the show, I want each of you to talk about your companies and what you do. So, Brian, I'll start with you because you're right there in my face.
Yeah, I run Occam Defense. We make parts to make the AK, as we see it, simpler and better. If there's a lot of versions of best. That's a fully subjective thing, but we try to bring experience and wisdom from guys like Jeff Kirkham. He's had very heavy input. Paul Markle, from the beginning, has had a lot of input. Curtis, you can find a torture test that he did. The reason that we paid money for that torture test is Curtis cannot be bought. And so he's kind of like the Consumer Reports of the gun media world, where it doesn't matter how good friend you are. If he has a problem, he will tell the world about it. And so you can find a very rigorous test of our gun under that at VSO. I have a 20-year career as a physicist, and that has given me some interesting insights and tools. We bring those tools to bear in what we design. There are lots of little details, like our adjustable gas block. We torture tested it and ran 1,000 rounds through it in 45 minutes. And the only thing that it didn't fail, but it went soft, was the detent spring. And so we changed that out for Inconel X750, which is this very exotic material that you can make a spring with that'll be good up to 1,350 Fahrenheit. And so I think that's a good example of the kind of testing we do. We use a bunch of instrumentation like, infrared cameras and thermocouples and stuff like that to make sure that what we think we're designing is what we get at the end. We build everything 100% in the United States. We machine most of our products right here in Moscow, Idaho.
All right.
Curtis.
Marty, what do you do?
Curtis,
Curtis, what do you do?
Bottom left.
I make stupid videos on the internet about things. No, but I run the VSO Gun channel, and basically what I do is really dual faceted. So I make videos online for everybody to consume, but then I also test and evaluate products that are either out on the market or getting ready to go to the market to make sure that they're safe, usable, not going to blow up in your face, things like that. And then also help companies identify areas of continuous improvement. So as Brian alluded to, one of the projects I worked with was on his rifle, and I've got countless of them that we've done over the years. So it's a lot of fun. And I really can't complain about anything. So I try to add my own flair to it. I have a background in the hard sciences. My degree is in chemistry. And I did that for a couple of years before I went out and decided that whole field has run awry from where it should be doing its thing. So started doing this, and I think it's almost been, 11 years now. So it's been a great time, and I get my best ideas from my audience. So if you guys got ideas for videos, then please come over, visit me, and tell me what I need to do next.
There you go. Left hand, Marty. Everybody knows who you are.
So I'm a Paul Markle wannabe. this little podcast called Talking Lead. We're in our 10th year, celebrating our 10 years of leducating the uneducated on the Talking Lead podcast. Do that by having smart, awesome people like Paul, like Curtis, like Brian on the show. And then we started this little segment called the Talking Lead AK Corner about 4 years ago. We're in our 4th year of doing that. A once a month segment. We talk nothing but AK-47 comm block style weaponry, and then we get experts from around the nation, around the globe on there. Check us out, Talking Lead.
Yeah, and thank you to all you guys. And we should acknowledge our dearly departed brother James Yeager, who was instrumental in getting Americans to stop crying about AKs and learn how to shoot them. You know,
Agreed.
yeah, many moons ago. James, I would say James was probably the first professional firearms training school in the United States of America to fully endorse the AK. Matter of fact, all their rental guns for many years were AKs.
I think looking back at it, I think James is the one that connected us with every single person on this call right now.
Not Marty.
We met through the
We
FRN.
met through
That's right.
FRN. Yeah. But yes, but he introduced us to Brian, and Curtis, did we meet for the first time in person at the?
I think it was at Tactical Response.
For that
was it
weightlifting course.
It was at the Fight Strong class.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That was the
That
first
was
time
the
we
first
ever
time y'all met.
in person.
And we were there.
Okay.
Marty was there. You were there. I was there.
Yep. Yep.
Man, that was a freaking rogues guy.
Dude, that is, I talk about training and, what I use on a day-to-day basis. And of all the classes that I have ever taken, I literally use everything that I learned in that course on a daily basis.
Oh yeah,
That was a
I
great.
do it. Yeah, we've been disciples of Reynolds now for over 5 years, dedicated, and
I've just started back up to so I broke my hand a couple of years ago, and I just kind of got out of it where I was doing kind of like piecemealing things together because I couldn't even squat because I couldn't even like put my hands over the bar, right? Yeah. And I've just now gotten back into the program. Thank God.
oh yeah,
I needed it. So if you're not familiar with that program, guys,
yeah,
it's
a good
changed
deal,
my
but
life.
It's
Changed
what
my
got
life.
me
Logic.
through my hip replacement surgery. So I just had hip replacement about 3 months ago or so.
Yeah.
And now I'm got the check to get back to the check off by the doctor to get back in the gym. So started back.
Only 3 months later, you can actually start doing that stuff again, huh?
Oh, I was ready to go as soon as
3 months is a long time when you're the one sitting there not doing it, though, huh?
That's how it happens. Never did I ever want to go to the gym more than when I was sitting there with a broken hand.
Yeah,
like I have a video on like Instagram of me trying to cut a steak left-handed, and you were going to swear that any second I was going to like lacerate myself and have to go to the ER. It was a really humbling experience. So if you're healthy currently, take advantage of being healthy.
Yeah, if you got 2 good arms and 2 good legs, yeah, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym today. It's like, get off your ass.
Shut up and go do it.
And speaking of being healthy and going to the gym, I could use dinner. How about y'all?
We could all use dinner. All
Get some
right.
protein for that gym fuel.
Tacos. Time to eat tacos.
Well, all right. Thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, everybody, who showed up. Everybody out there in the audience, support these guys. They're part of the good guys. They're the good team. And it's not too late to post your pictures. It's not too late to snap a shot of yourself hugging your AK.
Is there a giveaway this time?
Well, the raffle is what we're
Raffle. Okay.
Get your butt over to the raffle. We're going to help
and
James's
also
family.
Also unrelated and completely selfish means. Shop SOTG right. ShopSOTG.com. You can get yourself a "Have you hugged your AK today?" sticker.
Yeah, duh. We should have talked about that first, but
you should have held one up to the camera.
All right.
Yep.
We suck at marketing.
Right.
So yeah, thank all y'all for being here, and we should definitely do something like this again sometime. And thank y'all who watched for watching.
And real quick, for those who don't follow Occam Defense, if you hop over there, I am running a contest, and it's for me to primp your AK. It's not a full blown rebuild, but I'm gonna go over your gun and make it as nice as I possibly can. And so you got to post, you got to tag. Bonus point if you buy a raffle ticket. I didn't think to include this, but if you buy a raffle ticket for James, then you will have double entries into the contest. And if you send us that,
am I eligible?
Email us
I was going to say, I need to do this because I have an AK that is just absolutely junked. That I need to send to you just to see your reaction.
How
about no?
It'd be a good game. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail it, but yeah, if you want to enter that contest, rock on.
Sweet.
All right, Jared, any last words?
Nope, that's it. Go to jaredmarkle.com, get in on that raffle for James and his family. And that's it.
That's it.
Thank you guys very much.
Remember, you're a beginner once.
Student for life.
Student for life.